Good morning. Good morning. I'm glad you came anyway. Traffic or no traffic, messages or no messages, and with the city doing its best to prove that it's boss. You know the days I mean, when the alarm has barely stopped and already someone or something is standing on the desk of your heart with a whistle, asking you to run faster. The inbox multiplies like loaves and fishes, only without the miracle. The headlines shout, the body mutters, the family text thread erupts. The coffee tries to help, and bless it, sometimes it only hurries us along to nowhere. You need a sense of humor to live in this century. Oh, not because life is a joke, but because fear is. It takes itself very seriously. And here we are. I wonder if an overwhelming day is not the day at all, but the attempt to manage life from the surface of thought. Is it possible that overwhelm is not too many tasks, but a hypnosis, the parade of appearances, seen, heard, tasted, touched, smelled, claiming to be power? Bills, bodies, deadlines, relationships, newsreels, all appearing with little badges that say authority, and we salute as if they were generals. Now, is there such authority in them? Or have we, for a moment, forgotten the only power and tried to juggle the many little powers of effect? Let's be very gentle with this, because the world is not our enemy, and the day is not a curse. No, no. The teaching is not escapism, not denial, not becoming impractical. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are not going to shut our eyes to the bank statement and drive into a ditch in the name of spirituality. We are not going to resign from our work or our common sense. What we are going to do is return to cause, so that effects may take their rightful place. Servants, not masters. Messengers, not rulers. If there is one phrase to tuck in your pocket this morning, let it be this. The overwhelming day is the moment appearances claim power. And our work, our only work, is to return to the only power within. Not to argue with the picture, not to polish it, not to bully it into behaving, but to rise above the sea of thought long enough to remember, I am. 3 minutes. Not as a trick, not as a spiritual life hack, but as a doorway, short enough to do, deep enough to prove something. 3 minutes to rest in I am. Direct God awareness, not in a belief about God, not in a sentence about God, but in the felt stillness that says, where God is, I am, and where I am, God is. We will discover that when attention withdraws from the picture and abides in presence, the day rearranges itself without our pushing. The mailbox stops barking. The phone becomes a tool again. The body, reassured, ceases its shouting and quietly reports what it needs. We find ourselves doing the next right thing without the old sweat of fear. This is not magic. It is order. It is what happens when cause is acknowledged and effects line up like good soldiers after roll call. So, let us begin here, together, with a small agreement between us. When the noise tries to be authority, we will stop. We will step back for 3 minutes into the inner room. No petition, no panic, just the simple resting in I am. Then, and only then, will we go about our business. And you will see, calmly, quietly, that the day was never overwhelming. Only the hypnosis was. Now, let us look at this sea that splashes up against the shore of the mind from the moment the eyelids open. What do I mean by thought? not merely the sentences you hear yourself mutter while making toast. Thought, as we are using it here, is everything that can be seen, heard, tasted, touched, and smelled. Everything read in headlines, filed in memory, forecast by experts, rehearsed at 2 in the morning. All the opinions that drift in like fog from friends, co-workers, and ancestors. All the fears that dress up as prudence and sit at the head of the table. It is the inner commentator and the outer stimuli doing a duet, louder some days than others, and together they make a convincing ocean. We swim in it. Some of us try to surf it, and some days we swallow a mouthful and call it me. Now, can thought be true because it is loud? Can it be power because it is repeated? If 5 notifications assemble like a neighborhood committee and vote that you are behind, does that produce a law? If the body sends a bulletin every 15 minutes, is the bulletin the authority or only a report? If the calendar thunders like Sinai, has it suddenly become God? Or have we, in a moment of sleep, enthroned the reporter and forgotten the source? Please hear this safety correction before we go any further. It doesn't mean we stop thinking for practical tasks. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We will still count the cash drawer. We will still call the dentist. We will still look both ways before crossing a street. We are not against arithmetic, nor against doctors, nor against clocks. We are against worship. Worship of thought as power and law. We are against bowing to the parade as if the marching band created the music. Thinking can be a good clerk. It makes poor royalty. Overwhelm, then, is not the number of items. It is the seated throne. Time is not a tyrant until we hand it a scepter. People are not causes until we forget cause. Conditions are not rulers until we agree to be ruled. Look closely, and you will see how quickly we sign the contract. The schedule barks, and we salute. An email scowls, and we take it as a verdict. The body hiccups, and we prepare for catastrophe. We regard rumor as statute, repetition as proof, volume as authority. And then we wonder why the heart tightens and the breath shortens. It is simple. We have tried to live under many powers. Our aim is not to fix the sea. You will not iron the waves flat with more waves. The work is to rise above the sea of thought, if only for 3 minutes, until there is that quiet click of presence. Not to rearrange the actors, not to paint the scenery a kinder color, but to step off the stage long enough to remember there is only one power, one life, one I. Then we come back to the same room, the same people, the same clock, and you will notice something odd. The authority has moved. The noise keeps its volume, perhaps, but it no longer commands. The waves still roll, but you are not under them. You are on the cliff, steady, watching, and the next right step appears without argument. So when the day rises like a chorus and tries to sing you into obedience, smile at it. Recognize the voice. Ah, the sea. You do not have to silence it. You do not have to win an argument. You turn within for 3 minutes. You rest in I am. And in that resting, you know. Thought is not power. Presence is. And from that knowing, freedom begins. Now, about prayer. What do we do when the sea gets loud and the calendar pretends to be Mount Sinai? The first impulse is to pray as if we could bargain with a weather report. Dear God, soften this meeting, shorten these emails, lengthen this day, make that person less themselves. And somewhere, if we are honest, there's a little postscript. Am I trying to inform God that my schedule is crowded? Am I hoping to instruct the infinite about traffic patterns, personality types, and paper jams? You need a sense of humor to pray that way. Then a sense of correction. No, no, seek me only. Prayer, as we use it in this work, is not petition and not panic. It is not telling, not pleading, not outlining. It is realization. It is the felt awareness of presence, of I am, that dissolves the false sense of separation which gave the picture its bite. Think of the sun. You cannot ask the sun to shine on you, nor can you write it a letter requesting warmth and a little color for the cheeks. But you can bring yourself into the sunshine, and then, without negotiation, warmth and tan are inevitable. In the same way, we do not pray for effects, we step into awareness. We turn from the picture to the source, and then, of itself, the day warms, guidance appears, the tight place loosens. The qualities are in the cause. You receive them by contact with the cause. Please let this be very plain. The discipline, in an overwhelming hour, is not to pray for a better day. Oh, not at all. Not at all. The discipline is to pray for a deeper awareness. Never pray for anything at all except a clearer, quieter sense of God's presence. That presence of God is the insurance policy. Not words about God, not a theology exam, but an actual click, however slight, however humble, in which we know where God is, I am. Where I am, God is. Thinking won't make this so. Outlining won't make this so. Contact makes it so. How? By the same 3 minutes we are speaking of. We do not bargain with 3 minutes, we consecrate them. We are not trying to influence a cosmic superintendent. We are consenting to be influenced by reality. For those few moments, we let the parade pass. We stop informing, we stop advising deity, we stop rehearsing arguments for or against the picture. We rest, quietly, attentively, in I am. And the proof of prayer is not a thunderclap. It is a small authority shift inside. The fear releases its grip, the breath remembers itself, and the next right thing presents without strain. Does this change conditions? It changes cause. And when cause is acknowledged, effects align as they must. Sometimes the meeting softens, sometimes it doesn't. But you are no longer the meeting's prisoner. Sometimes the email writes itself, sometimes you throw half of it away, and either way, there is guidance instead of guessing. Seek me only. Seek me only. When we return to the only power within, the many little powers cease their masquerade, and struggle ends where prayer begins, in presence. Now, this I am of which we speak, let us be very plain, does not refer to the little personal fellow who is trying to get the world to cooperate. No, no. I am is not the ego putting on a crown and saying, "Watch me." I am is the recognition of the one self, the divine selfhood, God as the life, mind, and law of being, showing forth as you and as me, but not divided, not parceled into private ownership. There is only I. We are not two in essence. We are only two in function. The form answers the door. The I that lives the life is God. Safety correction here, or we will head straight into a ditch. This is not willpower. Oh, not at all. Not at all. This is not positive thinking with a religious hat on. This is not ignoring responsibilities, bills, bodies, or business. We will still phone the client. We will still change the diaper. We will still pay the tax. But we will not let effects sit on the throne. The I am reset is nothing to do, really. It is a consent. It is the brief, deliberate returning to source, until the sense of separation thins and presence is felt. Why 3 minutes? First, because the mind makes long errands out of short truths. Offer it an hour, and it will produce 1,000 noble reasons to start tomorrow. Offer it 3 minutes, and even the busiest tyrant of a calendar shrugs, "All right then, 3. Second, 3 minutes can be repeated. Proof comes not by one grand crusade of holiness, but by a small rhythm of contact. Morning, midday, night, and in between is needed, until the heart knows the way by feel. Third, 3 minutes is long enough to settle, short enough to disarm fear's theater. You can put the kettle on and meet God before it boils. The dog will forgive you. The mechanics are simple. Stop. That is the first sacrament. Stop. Not forever. 3 minutes. Become still, not rigid, just willing. Let the shoulders remember they hang from heaven, not from deadlines. Let a breath come and go without supervision. Then acknowledge, I am. Not, I am tired. Not, I am behind. Not, I am afraid. Those are labels pinned onto a stranger in the crowd. I am, period. And when the mind rushes in with its adjectives, we let them float past on the same little river that has carried 1,000,000 other adjectives out to sea. We are not policing thought. We are returning to the one who is before thought. We are not hunting fireworks. Please don't make a project out of ecstasy. The proof is a click, perhaps only a soft shift, a quieting, a little settling inside, as if a bird that has been flying in the room has found the open window. You will know it by the absence of argument. The breath evens, the center returns to center. There is a wordless yes. Sometimes there is warmth, sometimes nothing but a clean, uncolored stillness. That is enough. Where God is, I am. And in that 3-minute doorway, beyond the storyline and the adjectives, the day is no longer a master, it becomes a servant again. From there, right action presents itself, not as a demand, but as a natural next step. We will taste this together soon. For now, tuck it in your pocket. I am. Not belief, not posture. Contact. 3 minutes to remember reality, and then back to the world, but not under it. Now let us be very simple together. Let us not make a project of this. Let us meditate a few minutes. We are not going to fight thought. We are going to let it pass. We are not going to produce holiness. We are going to notice what is already here. Sit as you are, hands comfortable. The face can stop performing. The breath does not need coaching. We are not trying to get somewhere in 3 minutes. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are consenting to be where we are, while letting the parade go by. First minute. Notice the room as if you were a kindly usher. There is a sound, traffic perhaps, a heater, a neighbor, the small symphony of the building settling. Label it gently. Sound. Let it be where it is. There is a sensation, weight of the chair, temperature on the skin, a flutter in the belly. Label it softly. Sensation. It may come and it may go. There is a list walking up with a clipboard. Meetings, messages, something you forgot, something you fear you will forget again. Label it without warfare. Thought. Report. Rumor. Let the river carry it. No commentary is needed. We are not chasing thoughts, and we are not slapping their hands. We are seeing them as weather, passing weather. Shoulders can hang from heaven again. The breath goes out, the breath comes in, and, astonishingly, it does not require a committee. Second minute. Now, introduce nothing new, only acknowledge what has never been absent. I am. Not as a shout to the world, as a nod within. I am. We do not add a surname, not I am this role, this mood, this story. The adjectives can rest. I am, being itself, the one life living itself as you, without beginning, without end. Feel the simple fact of being before the thought of being. It is prior to the caption. If a phrase wants to form, let it be quiet and factual. Where God is, I am. Where I am, God is. Not as a spell, as a recognition. If the mind tries to decorate, I am successful, I am behind. Smile and let the decorations float down the river with the others. Rest a moment in the nakedness of I am. No outline, no petition. Presence without furniture. Third minute. Seek me only, seek me only. Release the little bargain that wants to trade these moments for results. We are not here to make the day behave. We are here for the click, the soft recognition, however faint, that being is, and that is enough. If there is warmth, fine. If there is only quiet, fine. If there is chatter at the edges, fine. Return the attention to the center without reproach, the way you would guide a drowsy child back to bed. This is prayer without asking, awareness without argument. Presence is the proof. In presence, authority returns to cause, and effects fall in line as they must. And if the mind wandered, of course it did. Minds do that. That is not failure. The victory is the returning. Every return is mastery reclaimed, separation dissolving without a fight. Remember this when you stand up. The reset is done the instant attention shifts from the picture to the simple fact of being. You do not have to hold it like a straining athlete. You recognize it and let it govern. Now we can open our eyes, or not, but we have already begun to live the day from the inside out. Seek me only, and let the rest be added. Now, having tasted a little of that quiet, let us ask the question that ends a great many quarrels. Who is it that is overwhelmed? God's being, or a mental image of a separate me? Is infinite life panting because Monday arrived? Is the one presence short of breath because an email multiplied? If deity needs a nap, we are all in trouble. No, then who is struggling? A picture, a concept, a costume called me, stitched together from yesterday's reports and tomorrow's forecasts, marching about the stage as if it were the actor, the playwright, and the theater. Let us bring out our little tumbler for a moment. You remember, outside and inside. Where does the outside leave off and the inside begin? Are there two sides doing battle? Or is there but glass, one substance serving in two ways? Apply that same seeing to what you call my life and what we name God. Where do you end and God begin? Is there a seam you can place a fingertip on? Or is there but life, one life, the invisible selfhood we call God showing as the visible form called you? We are not two in essence. We are two in function. God is our being. We are the expression and activity of that being, like light from the sun, not separate, only serving. Safety correction. And let it be very gentle, or we will spook the horse. This does not erase your individuality. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are not melting into some cosmic soup and forgetting how to answer the phone. Individuality as function remains. Your laugh, your craft, your way with children or with numbers. It is separation as identity that dissolves. The false private owner steps down, and the rightful owner is acknowledged. Then there is no little me to be overwhelmed. There is God being expressing, and there is the form through which that being serves. Now watch what this does to relationships, because Monday is full of people. If there is one life, then the other people in your office, on your street, in your kitchen, are not external powers invading your peace. They are within the one, as you are within the one. The struggle to control them is the symptom of believing we are two. Two authorities, two agendas, two powers banging into each other. When oneness is realized, blame loses its footing. If I am not a separate self, I have no rival to defeat, no idiot to fix, no tyrant to topple. The moment blame drops, strain drops. And in the space where strain was, intelligence appears, timing appears. An action or a silence presents itself that fits like a key fits a lock. You will notice the practical complexion of this by noon. The same person says the same sentence they said last week, and instead of a reflex to defend, there is a pause and a word that comes from center, or no word at all, and the conversation changes course. The meeting that would have been a tug of war becomes a dance, or at least a humane stroll. Children, co-workers, clients stop being weather systems to be endured and become avenues through which the one life meets itself in kindness. How is this maintained? The same 3-minute doorway. In the instant we ask, who is overwhelmed? The mask slips. We turn within. We rest in I am. And in that resting, the only identity stands revealed. Where God is, I am. Where I am, God is. Not two. And from that oneness, right action follows as naturally as light follows the dawn, without pushing, without plotting, in the middle of Monday. Seek me only, and the many separate powers vanish like mist on the windshield. And there you are, driving clearly, peacefully, under one sun. Now let's bring this right down to the desk with the coffee ring on it. Oneness in the middle of Monday is beautiful in the sanctuary. Now it comes sauntering in wearing a necktie and carrying a briefcase full of little gods. I call them BEABLES. It has a funny sound, BEABLES. Roll it around inside your mouth and you'll taste what I mean. A BEABLE is anything to which we attach undue importance. Anything we let sit on the throne for 5 minutes and a half. Tasks are BEABLES when they become judges. Metrics are BEABLES when they become verdicts. Notifications are BEABLES when they become commandments. Opinions, yours or theirs, are BEABLES when they become weather systems that blow the whole house down. We can make a religion out of an inbox. Oh, we can. We check it like a shrine, genuflect to the red numbers, and come away either blessed or cursed, depending on who wrote overnight. And the calendar. Have you noticed how easily it grows stone tablets? 10 appointments, and we bow as if Moses himself had dragged them down from the mountain. Thou shalt be double booked, and thou shalt feel guilty. You need a sense of humor. Otherwise, we'll worship the wristwatch and tithe our peace to analytics. Now, is there life in a bubble? Is there power in a notification? Does a metric possess law? Or are these effects, useful effects, turned into masters by our consent? Overwhelm comes the very minute effects are crowned powers. Freedom begins the moment we dethrone them by returning to presence. This is the paradox of our work. The way to have rightful use of time, money, opportunity, and even approval is to stop desiring them as powers. Give up the worship and receive the use. Surrender their scepters and watch them become servants. Safety correction before someone sends a resignation letter to the office. This is not neglect. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are not going to miss deadlines in the name of the infinite, or refuse to count the change at the register. We are not going to call confusion mysticism. We are going to reorder. Cause first, then effect. Presence first, then plan. Form follows consciousness. When cause is acknowledged, the email is answered, but it does not rule. The budget is balanced, but it does not frighten. The meeting is attended, but it does not possess you. How do we practice this dethroning? 3 minutes at a time. Every reset is a refusal to worship a bevel. The notification pings and we smile. Ah, a bevel. The calendar scowls and we say kindly, just a bevel. We turn within. We rest in I am, and the altar is cleared of trinkets. Seek me only. Seek me only. In that simple contact, authority returns to the one, and the many little rulers remove their crowns. Then we come back to the same day, but now the inbox is a mailbox again. The metric is a report again. The opinion is a breeze again. Effects are back in their places. Good clerks, not royalty. And you, not as a separate little owner, but as the expression of the one, find that right action presents itself, quietly, naturally, without bribes and without fear. Where God is, I am. And the Bebels, God bless them, can take a number. Now, let us be even humbler than before. Let us meditate a few minutes. We are going to let the personal I step aside, not by force, not by heroics, but by surrender. We are not trying to disappear. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are consenting to stop pretending to be the author. Sit as you are. Nothing to improve. Nothing to accomplish. Only the willingness to rest where life is already being life. First, notice the narrator that has been running the show. I must, I should, I can't, I'm behind, I'll never catch up. I. Hear it as you would hear a radio left on in the next room. Not an enemy, not a prophet, just the old hypnotism of separation telling its same tired story. Label it gently. Narrator. If it rushes forward with a clipboard, smile. The breath is still here without its permission. The heart is beating without its memo. Shoulders can lower as if unhooked from the ceiling. Let the sentences pass like headlines on a screen. There goes, I must. There goes, I can't. Weather, not law. We do not push against it. We recognize it as not power, and in that recognition, it begins to quiet. Presence is here before, during, and after the chatter. Second, let the narration be replaced by a simpler truth. Not as a slogan, but as a fact felt inside. I live, yet not I. The Christ liveth my life. Where God is, I am. Where I am, God is. Rest in that. Not two. Not a little owner trying to lease a day from a reluctant universe. One life, living itself as this very being. Feel the sense of being lived, as if the current is carrying the boat and the oars may rest for a moment across your knees. Not laziness, consent. Not passivity, trust. If a word wants to arise from that center, let it be thank you. If a warmth comes, receive it. If only a clean, undecorated stillness, receive that too. The author is God. The form is you. We are only two in function. Third, become very quiet and receptive. Seek me only. We are listening now, not outlining. Attending, not arranging. No bargains. No, if you show me steps 1 through 40, I'll obey. We ask no questions of time. We simply let urgency dissolve into a calm certainty that the next right thing will be evident when it is needed. Notice how the body softens when there is nothing to defend and nothing to force. Sometimes there is a tiny impulse. Stand up, drink water, open that file, make that call. Be still. Sometimes there is only the click of peace. That is guidance enough. The river knows its way to the sea. When we open our eyes, we do not need a map of the whole journey. We are not hired as the architect of providence. One small next step will present itself, quietly, naturally, without trumpets. Take that, and nothing more. The rest will be added as it is required. This is how the day is mastered, not by a personal I juggling planets, but by life living itself where we are, step by step, minute by minute. The moment the personal I yields, guidance replaces overwhelm. And we discover, with a small smile, that the work gets done better when we are not trying to be God. Seek me only, and let the one do what the one does. Live. Now, before someone takes this quiet and turns it into a letter of resignation, let us make something very clear. Abiding within does not mean abandoning without. It doesn't mean passivity. It doesn't mean irresponsibility. It doesn't mean we throw our calendars into the sea and call it faith. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We still rise when the alarm rings. We still file the report. We still take the child to school and the dog to the veterinarian. We do not cease to plan. We cease to worry. We do not stop acting. We stop being acted upon by fear. The outer activity continues, beautifully, ordinarily, punctually. But the inner tyrant is removed from the throne. And in that dethroning, intelligence and love take their proper places. It doesn't mean we become indifferent to family or work. Oh, not at all. It means we are more available because we are less entangled. Fear-driven management ties up every hand and foot with invisible rope. Presence-driven living frees the hands for their task and the heart for its kindness. We still budget money, but we do not budget panic. We still schedule meetings, but we do not schedule anxiety. Planning becomes a clerk again, not a monarch. The list remains, but it does not bark. The phone rings, but it does not rule. This is the true shift, not a change of scenery, a change of sovereignty. Let me speak to the emotions now, because this must be honest, or it is useless. Grief will come, anger will visit, fatigue will sit in your chair and look you in the eye. We are not going to slap them away or call them sins. We are not going to decorate them either. They are weather, real enough on the skin, powerless at the core. The practice is not suppression. The practice is return. In the very midst of the ache, we turn within for 3 minutes. We rest in I am, and we let the wave rise and fall in the larger sea of presence. You may cry your tears, and you may discover that in the crying, something holds you that does not cry. You may feel the heat of anger, and you may notice a cool center that does not burn. Where God is, I am. Where I am, God is. The feeling passes. The presence remains. Take an everyday case. Traffic stops like a mule in the middle of the road. Watch the reflex begin. Tight jaw, commentary, the grand jury convening in your head. Catch it kindly. Ah, a bubble with brake lights. 3 minutes, even one. Hands on the wheel, shoulders released, attention within. I am. Seek me only. The road has not moved, but the kingdom has shifted to cause. Or a rude email drops like a stone. Before you answer with your best lawyer, turn. 1 breath, 2, 3. Let the little author step aside. Then write. Brief, clear, human. Or a bill arrives, and with it the old chorus. Do the same. Return first, then act. You will still pay the bill. You will not pay it with your peace. Hear the reassurance again, because the habit of fear is old and quick. This work does not make you less effective. It makes you more. Oh, not at all. Not at all. It does not dull your edge. It breaks the grindstone that was wearing you down. It does not take you out of life. It takes the false ruler out of you. From that freedom, right action appears. Sometimes bold, sometimes soft, always timely. The family is cared for. The job is done. The mind is clear. And underneath the changing weather of days, the changeless sun of I am governs without strain. Seek me only, and let the rest take its rightful place. Good clerks, faithful servants, while the one quietly runs the show. Rhythm now. Not heroics. Rhythm. A simple rule that will save you 1,000 contortions. Never start the day without contact. Never finish the day without contact. And anytime the day shouts, take 3 minutes and return. That is all. Not a vow you engrave on marble. A rhythm you keep with kindness. Like breathing. Like the tide. Freedom is stabilized by rhythm. Repeated contact turns 3 minutes into a way of living rather than an emergency kit. Morning first. Before the phone, before the headlines, before you invite the world to climb into your lap. Sit on the edge of the bed or stand by the sink and be still 3 minutes. We are not trying to become holy at dawn. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are consenting to remember reality before the pictures begin their parade. Shoulders loose, breath natural, a simple recognition. I am. Where God is, I am. Where I am, God is. Seek me only. Let the day be added to you instead of you adding yourself to the day. You can brush your teeth right after, and your coffee will not grow lonely. Midday is where the weather kicks up. So build the little micro resets. Before the call, 3 minutes. Before you hit send, 3 minutes. Before you step into the house at evening, 3 minutes in the car at the curb. Before you answer a sharp word, 3 minutes. Or 30 seconds, if that is all the moment grants. Elevator practice. Restroom sanctuary. Kettle lit and presence contacted before it boils. You are not hiding. You are dethroning effects. And give yourself a bell. When you hear the mind say, I can't, let that phrase be your temple gong. Stop. Turn within. Return to I am. I can't is not prophecy. It is a doorbell. Answer it from center, not from panic. you will find that the impossible softens into the next small, doable step, or it dissolves entirely. And either way, you were not its captive. Night closes the circle. Do not fall into sleep in the arms of the day's leftovers. 3 minutes to hand the day back to its owner. We are not auditing failures. We are releasing authorship. I live, yet not I. The Christ liveth my life. Where there was friction, let there be a quiet thank you, and a willingness to let the unfinished remain in wiser hands till morning. Sleep in presence, not in argument. The body rests more sweetly when the little manager has punched out. If you like tools, use them lightly. A small journal can serve as a witness. One line, contacted at 8:10, piece returned. Nothing elaborate. A timer on the phone can be a clerk. Beads, apps, notebooks, fine, but remember our BEABLES. Do not make a bebel of technique. The point is presence, not performance. Contact, not streaks. If you miss a bell, do not scold yourself. Return. The victory is the returning. What will come of this? Not fireworks on schedule, not instant perfection. Demonstration is always in proportion to awareness. But you will notice, almost shyly at first, strain decreases, timing improves, guidance arrives without trumpet, humor returns to the room, relationships soften, tasks untangle. The click grows familiar. The day, which once felt like a judge, becomes a servant again. Where God is, I am. Morning, midday, night. Seek me only, and let this little rhythm carry you, quietly, into a new way of living. Let us bring this to quiet now. All we have said can be put into one sentence. We do not conquer the day. We return to I am. And the day reorganizes around presence. That is the whole sermon in a nutshell. No heroics, only contact. And if you ask for one prayer to carry in every emergency and in every ordinary hour, I give you the master key. Seek me only. Not as poetry, as practice. Seek me only when the phone rings and when it doesn't. When the line is long and when the house is silent. Seek me only, and let the one arrange the many. Let us meditate a few minutes. Nothing to achieve now. We are not going to decorate this moment with adjectives. Oh, not at all, not at all. We are going to release them. Sit as you are. Shoulders can hang from heaven. The breath is already faithful. Let everything be exactly as it is without your commentary. If a sound arrives, it is just sound. If a sensation stirs, it is just sensation. If a thought knocks with a briefcase and a tie, it is just thought. Weather, not law. Let the parade go by without climbing on a float. Now, quietly, acknowledge what has never been absent. I am. Not, I am this, not, I am that. Just, I am. Feel the fact of being before the thought of being. Where God is, I am. Where I am, God is. Let the labels slide off like rain on glass. No petition now, no bargain. Seek me only. Wait without strain for the click. Perhaps a soft settling, perhaps a simple, undecorated stillness. That is enough. Presence is the proof. In that presence, authority returns to cause, and effects find their places as they must. If the mind wiggles, we do not scold it. We return. The victory is the returning. A small thank you may rise of its own accord. Let it. I live, yet not I. The Christ liveth my life. Rest a moment in being lived, as if the current bears you and the oars may lay across your knees. No outline, no timeline, only trust that the next right step will be apparent when needed, and not a minute early. Now we carry this into the proving ground. Not a monastery, but the calendar, the kitchen, the commute. Before you answer, seek me only. Before you argue, seek me only. At the sink, at the steering wheel, at the elevator door, 30 seconds will do if 3 minutes will not. You are not hiding, you are establishing center. And I promise you, with quiet certainty born of experience, when the sense of presence is touched, even briefly, the whole day takes a new orbit. Humor returns. Guidance appears without trumpet. Effects resume their humble jobs. Where God is, I am. Now. Seek me only, and let the peace of that contact govern the hours gently, faithfully, without strain.